Hi everyone, good afternoon, good evening, good morning for some of you. Hope everyone is having a good Friday today. Hope everyone is doing well. We do have quite a lot to get through, and I was running a little bit late today. Back at work this week, and I was just messing around, surprisingly watching old Britain's Got Talent X Factor voice videos, and I have no idea how I ended up down that rabbit hole, but here we are after some minestrone soup. So let me just move this over here, catch up with the chat, have a look at some stats for this double game week. Some people obviously holding the transfers, which is wise. I've already made 2 transfers and taken hits. But yeah, because that's what I do. I like to try and give advice and then completely ignore my own suggestions. But when you see the transfers I've made, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a lot of people disagreeing with the transfers that I have made. And I did wait to finish the second transfer till this morning. So should be okay. So let's just have a catch up with the chat. Hey, Booner and Dread FPL, welcome back, buddy. ABCD, hi, welcome to the stream. I definitely would have recognized that name if I saw that before. Kiffian, who am I going for then? We'll have a look in a minute, but I did reply. Already used a triple captain chip on the Mo Salah double game week. You know, I still don't regret that. I still don't regret playing that double captaincy chip on Salah. And funnily enough, after the double game week, he went into West Ham away and got 2 goals, right? So that's just the way it is. And people are going to use a double game week chip this double game week, and you know, anything can happen. You just never know with this game. Alistair, so many questions for the game week. Apparently the biggest double game week in the history of game weeks. So hold on, let's see if this can. There we go. How many hours till deadline? I think it's tomorrow afternoon. When's the City here first? 8:30. Deadline is 7 p.m. my time, which is 11 a.m. UK time. GMT. I'm not going to go through, obviously, every time zone's deadline. I think some responsibility should rest upon the shoulders of the manager. Triple captain chip activated for Sean. Who are you going for, buddy? Are you going for Kane? I think he's going to be a popular one. Here we go, Neil. Welcome back as well. Let's just go through. Shame we went with Bamford over Rafinha. So that's an interesting point. So last week was a double game week, and a lot of us in the chat were, of course, going for a Leeds captain, Bamford or Rafinha. Some of the brave ones in the chat were saying, yeah, let's go for Rafinha. So, Sean, I agree. Shame we went for Bamford. We've missed a couple of points. But, you know, after that first game against, it was Wolves, right? I was like, all right, I don't care. I'll take anything. And then Dallas, Rafinha, Bamford, all on the score sheet. And I enjoyed the whole game. And remember, Bamford scored before Rafinha, right? So even when Bamford scored, you know, I did a little fist bump. And then like Dallas scored and I screamed a little bit. And then Rafinha scored and I just nodded. Like, I can't remember ever in my history of FPL having 3 players score in the same game. And it's a defender, a midfielder, and a striker. It's absolutely nuts, that. So yeah, ifs and buts. You can see I've got Areola on the bench with 6 points. I played Martinez with 2. I didn't take the risk. If this was a week when I took some risks, I get an extra 4 points from Areola. I get an extra, what is it, like 6 points, I think, if I'd have captain Rafinha. Luca Dean on my bench goes away to Anfield. Not only did Everton beat Liverpool for the first time this century, but also Luca Dean picks up bonus points and Everton get a clean sheet. So, you know, if you'd have put a bet on that before the game, you'd have got really, really, really incredible odds for that. Hello to all the... Oh my god, Krista, I almost banned you there. I clicked the wrong button. Hello to all Game Week 25 Triple Leads owners as well as non-owners. So the question is going to be bench boost, guys. My plan, I do have 3 leads on my bench with a double Game Week Areola. And I'll be explaining why I did want to play the bench boost. But I'm going to tell you guys why I'm probably not going to play my bench boost. But I will explain that in a moment when I can just pop this on here. For those of you that don't use livefpl.net, on that you can check. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but on live FPL you can check like live bonus updates, live score updates, because sometimes the official fantasy Premier League game's a little bit slow, right? But they've also got something called a planner. And this is something I've been using to just double check, because I was doing it on paper. I still got that paper, guys, that I was doing my transfer plans on and checking my hits and everything. But this does it on a computer. And you can see here, okay, ignore the fact that I have Jesse Lingard in at Game Week 29, because I was just playing around with that one, okay? So here's why, guys, I'm potentially not making my bench boost in Game Week 26, the big game week where I've got 3 Leeds players on my bench. And it's because I'm really thinking of saving it. So I was going to wild card. So Game Week 29, I'll have 11 players. Game Week 30 is when people who are wildcarding out of it will probably wildcard. But before you actually do that, guys, you should really check your teams, because a lot of the players that have a match in Game Week 29 who you want in your team have a very, very, very good Game Week 30. And I'm actually considering a bench boost in 30 over a bench boost in Game Week 26. So if I show you my Game Week 30 squad, guys, some of these players won't be in for this game week on the bench. So Stones and Cancelo won't be in. It would be 2 of the players. So Lingard will be in, but essentially I can bench boost either 3 Leeds players this game week, or when I get to Game Week 30, I'll have, arguably better players to bench boost. So that's a decision I need to make. Do I just want to bench boost, get it out of the way, back the 3 Leeds boys after a great result against Southampton, against an Aston Villa side supposedly without Jack Grealish? Or do I save a bench boost for Game Week 30 just before I hit my wild card? Because if you have a look at the bench, like I'm looking at this now, and I have to bench the 2 City players in this situation. Away to Leicester, Dyer away to Newcastle, Dallas at home to Sheffield. I bring in Azpilicueta in for 1 game week at home to West Brom. Or do I just bench boost my 3 Leeds lads? That's the question I've got left to go. But I mean, it is tempting to do the bench boost because, like I said before, Leeds, great result. Aston Villa not looking at the best right now. And it gives me a really good chance to have, just one heck of a good game week, double game week. I have 11 double game week players. I've taken a -4, which I think is worth it for 11 double game week players. So yeah, we'll have a look at the team in a second. I'll just catch up with the chat. 93 points last week. Kifian, nice, good score. Morning, Chris. Welcome back as well. Hi, Alistair. Harvey Barnes in for Grealish. A classic move and one that I've made myself. Off work today. I'm off work on Monday. 89 points for you, Sean. You guys are doing well this game week. I'm pretty happy with 76. It was a small green arrow, and I'll just take green any day of the week. News on Grealish and Maddison. Maddison is looking maybe unlikely. Grealish, nothing. Dean Smith has lied before. I tried to reach out and try to get some information, but there's just nothing. Absolutely nothing on Jack Grealish. They're just hiding that completely. But you would, Aston Villa have improved. They have a pretty decent-ish squad now, I understand. But Jack Grealish is the linchpin. He is the talisman. He is the leader of that team. You don't want to tell anyone you've not got him for 1 game or 2 games or 4 games. Because if you say Jack Grealish is out for 3 games, the next 3 opponents Villa have got that amount of time to plan. Oh, well, we can, change our plan a little bit to not have to worry about Jack Grealish. You just do anything you can to not give your edge to the opponent. 807. I think we're really close. I'm 712. 712k now, which is good. Just going to agree on principle now. Good. I like it. DCL and Kane from Will for captaincy shouts. 400k rank for Kiffian. It's been a difficult season. The last season was difficult, but obviously this one is crazy too. Lovely green arrows for you. Dallas has ruined your game week. He made mine, Chris. I'm so sorry. Hey, John, welcome back, buddy. 100k rank going strong there. Definitely kick on, try and get a top 50k finish. Who would you rather use next game week? Dallas, Rafinha, or Bamford? I'm going to have to say Rafinha because he's blanked, once? He's blanked once in the last, 7 games. Let's just double check that. So, no blank. Oh, by the way, that first game, he gets 2 bonus points for a team against that lost 1-0 and took 2 bonus. I can't think, guys, of a time when I've really seen it. I think Reece James maybe did it earlier, but to finish a game losing 1-0, so no goals, no assist, you're a midfielder, your team's conceded, and he's got 2 bonus. So I'm going to say Rafinha blanked in that game, but he got 2 additional points. So blank 1 in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So on form, I'm going to have to say Rafinha is your starter, then Bamford, then Dallas. But it's really tough because without Grealish, Villa aren't looking that attacking. If Dallas is in midfield again, he gets a clean sheet, he gets an assist, he gets more points than all of them. It's real, and that's why I'm stuck in the idea, D, that I'm probably going to bench boost, even though I can save it for game week 30. I just can't sit here. I think with 3 Leeds players on my bench, their form, Villa's form, it's a good time to play Aston Villa, I think, right now. You was livid until that last Leeds game. Your wildcard in 25 wasn't great until Leeds performed. Yep, and it didn't look like it against Wolves. They were very lackluster. Like you're thinking of the later bench boost, as most will only be 3 single game week players. And Neil, this is the thing that I said last week, right? If you are like me and you are going to be wildcarding out of this situation, like after game week 29, I think you've got to use your bench boost before your second wild card. You have to, because there's no way you're making, with your second wild card, a bench boostable team. Like if you're going to use your second wild card for the last 7 games of the season and you're spreading the funds and you've got 5-6 million players on your bench, I just think that's wrong. Whereas now, before your second wildcard, you've probably got a good squad of, say, 14. You can bump that up to 15 and have a good bench boost. You're on bench boost in 26, as you'll have 1 double, if not 2 on the bench. Yeah, and Ariola's on my bench, and he's got a double, so it's 4 players playing, really. Free hit will be in 33 for you. Gonna play 8 or 9, max in 29. Bold, Neil. Hey, Harry, having a great season. FPL tips there, 45. And you must be happy with Chelsea's turnaround as well. Definitely a team that I'm going to probably have 1 defender in. I have penciled in Azpilicueta in for my second wildcard, or even a week before. I know people are suggesting Rudiger. People might want to take a hit. Not a hit, sorry. A punt on Marcus Alonso. I just think that's a little bit more volatile. I like the idea of Azpilicueta is, club captain, and I think he's more solid. Excuse me. Brought in Dallas and Rafinha last week. What a time to bring him in, eh? Yeah, I brought in them for Alzati and Justin. The greatest transfers of all time. Well, I mean, what is that? 29 points that you've brought in. Justin doesn't play, and Alzati, I don't know if he does play. I know he plays for Brighton, but I had Alzate as my 4.5 million midfielder for ages. You've got a strong bench to destroy over the next 3 weeks. Yeah, you're holding those chips, Neil. I admire it. I admire that patience that you're showing this year. Minus 12, Pereira for Lowton. Sorry, you bring in Pereira. You mean Leicester's Pereira for Lowton. Werner to Kane. Son to Traore. Bold. Sterling to KDB. Very risky. Never even taken a minus 8, but since wildcard, great rank at the moment, 60k might be worth it. As all, it's tough, man. It's really tough. Would I have done that minus 12? No. If I'm honest. Pereira for Lowton, yes, I would have done that. Werner to Kane, probably yes, I would have done that. But Son to Traore, Sterling to KDB feels that could bite back. Bale looks cool. Would he get a nod? I've had Bale, Krista, if you remember. I brought him in. He came on for like 20 minutes in his debut, almost scored. And I was like, oh, well, I'm in early, guys. Here we go. Lift off. Bale is back, baby. And then he didn't play for about 3 or 4 games. And yeah, that was fantastic. All your chips left, Harry, but bench boosting this week. Oh, you're using one. Honestly, yeah, I think that's the idea. If you're going to second wildcard, surely you're not going to have a bench boostable team. Fernandes or Sterling out. The big decision for you this week to fund game. Well, Boona, who was the first one to chat today, FPL Boona, I know that he's taken out Bruno Fernandes. I know a lot of people have argued against that move. Honestly, yes, it is bold. Bruno can always hurt you. But if you're going to wildcard him in, say, game week 30, so you're going to go without him for 4 game weeks, his double is a beauty against Palace, and then Chelsea, who have, I think it's the second best defence after Man City right now. And then he's got City. If you have a look here, Man City away, West Ham at home. Okay, yeah, he can do something at West Ham at home. I think, yes, that is probably a red fixture, but Bruno at home to West Ham, he can get something. But if you risk taking out Bruno now, and he does something, yeah, of course, it's going to hurt. But the opportunity that you can have, if you take that risk and you take out Bruno for someone with let's just say Maddison was fit, right? Leicester's fixtures coming up are incredible for the next few. And it doesn't matter about effective ownership. It matters about points. If Bruno Fernandes gets 10 points and the person you replace him with gets 12, you are doing better than them. Like, that's it. That's all that matters about. The only time effective ownership matters is when you have that player and the points end up working against you. So Bruno getting 12 points for this game week for me was bad for me. So it gets to the point where it's like, well, you know what? I might as well double down. You're not going to captain Bruno Fernandes away to Man City, but there's so many dead teams and so many Manchester United fan accounts that are going to captain him. So take the punt. Take him out. It's brave. It's massively brave, but the payoff, because if he blanks, that's 60% of the game that has him. It's a huge increase. And you've got to think that against Chelsea, very difficult. Against Manchester City away, very difficult. He blanks in 30 anyway. So let's just say you bring, I think Boona did bring Son in for Fernandes. And you're thinking, oh my God, Heung-min Son, Tottenham, they're doing terribly right now. Bruno is like the top player in FPL. He's a fantastic world-class player. He is. I'm not doubting that. But Spurs have a better double. Spurs playing game week 29. It's difficult. It's really difficult. Would I sell Mitchell for a -4 on bench boost? You only have 4.4 to spend, or just play Mitchell? I would take a -4 for that, Harry, because you're just not... Crystal Palace are looking absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible right now. And I watched them play a lot earlier in the season, and they were horribly defensive, but got results. Now they're still horribly defensive, but terrible. 4.4 can get you a double game week Fulham player, and if you're not wildcarding, you've got another player that plays in game week 29. I just think a -4 to get a dead set double game week playing player for 4.4 million. Try to say that when you're drunk. I think it's worth it for a -4. I really do. Kane triple captain to funds Son. Yeah, and that's something Edzo, you're bringing up a good point there about using a chip to cover the cost. So I've only taken a -4, but let's say I take another -4 and I take out a single Leeds player for a double game week playing player who's as nailed as can be, right? That's worth it. And then you play the bench boost and it feels like you're covering the cost a little bit. So I think that's fine. You got rid of Salah instead of Bruno. That's a very popular question. A lot of people saying get rid of who to fund for Kane, but I just cannot ignore Sheffield United and Fulham coming up for Liverpool. I just can't. And you can see he's the only Liverpool player I've got in my side. I am just not touching Liverpool defence. I got rid of Robbo at the right time at the back, but you just know Mo Salah can still do the business. And they've got the fixtures, but not the form. Sounds mad to take out Bruno, but tough fishes and Sterling could hold up. If it's Salah against Bruno, I'd give up Bruno first because of fixtures at the moment. I wouldn't like it. You'd have to put a gun to my head. It'd have to be a real, like, oh my God, you've got to do it kind of situation. But Sterling versus Bruno, I lose Sterling. And that's just because you cannot rely on Sterling playing. You just can't. You just don't know what Pep Guardiola is going to play. Foden, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Aguero's looking like he's back in contention now. You got Gabriel Jesus. Is he going to play Gundogan as a false nine? Is KDB going to drop back, or is he going to play as a you just don't know. And that's why I'm not particularly... I've only got 2 Man City players. I'm probably going to go down... when they play Manchester United, Stones is penciled in to go out for, I think it's Dunk at Brighton, because I just know that these 2 Man City players are probably not going to play, because they've got back-to-back double game weeks, right? Cancelo and Stones aren't going to play the 4 games. But if you've got Harry Kane, or if you've got Heung-min Son, they're going to play every single minute. And if you've got Bruno Fernandes and probably Mo Salah, they're probably going to play every minute as well. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth 5 or 6 possible points in a double game week when everyone else is going to play twice to have a player that'll get a clean sheet in a benching. High risk, high reward, getting rid of Bruno, and I'm behind, so I'm happy to risk it. And that's the point that I'm going to get to, because I've got an outside idea as to who I'm thinking of captaining this week. I mean, it's a big clue because he's in the thumbnail for today's stream. Thoughts on bringing in Kevin De Bruyne? Too early, and I've just been talking about Man City. Playing a bench boost and have Pope and me. Should I take a -4 to swap me to Dyer? Don't want to double up on Burnley defence and get a play for double take. Yes, I would agree with that move. I would agree with that. I've brought in Dyer. That's my second transfer, guys. I think the fixtures in 33 look better for a free hit than 29. Sometimes, Neil, it's not necessarily about what's the better fixtures. Sometimes it's even about fielding the players. Like, if you're going to say, oh, I can get a better free hit team in 33, but I only field 8 players in 29 and I have to take hits, I don't know. It doesn't feel worth it to me. You got Rashford, who can't cover Bruno completely, but he's doing very well. He is. Watkins, I've still got Watkins. Bruno out, Bale in, and Captain Bale, worst or best move ever. That is a punt and a half. But you cannot deny that Bale has not looked a little bit sharp in what we've seen this week. Is it DCL or Watkins in this week? Oh, DCL. They've got another double game week in 2. They've got a double game week, single game week, and then another double game week. Stuck between DCL and Kane for the armband. You also have Bruno. Okay, Dennis, I'm going to tell you right now, DCL is probably my captain, but I'm looking at Luka Dean. So I'm just going to pop my team up before I carry on with the chat. This is how I'm looking. So I have taken a -4. So the first one was Kufal out, Dyer in, which I think most people in the chat would agree. West Ham have a difficult run of defensive fixtures coming up. They only have single game weeks, but they do play in game week 29. Tottenham Hotspur have defensively a good double game week, and they play in game week 29. And hopefully Dyer has kept his place. I think that's a fair transfer, right? I'm getting a player with an extra fixture and a player that plays in 29. My second transfer, well, which I was kind of forced to make, has been Jack Grealish. If he wasn't injured, I would have kept him. He has Leeds, he has Sheffield United, and he's a talisman. He's a fantastic player. Wouldn't have sold him. I was 50-50 on whether it was going to be James Rodriguez, and I was going to triple up on Everton. I was going to have Luka Dean, James Rodriguez, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And then I realised I think I've tripled up on Everton before, and it's just absolute disaster. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get with Everton. They get beat at home to Newcastle, and then they go and beat Liverpool at Anfield 2-0 for the first time in like 20 plus years. And I didn't want to triple down on that situation. And Harvey Barnes has got the forms, but here's the other thing about Barnes as well, why I brought him in. So Arsenal Burnley in a double game week. Pretty nice, pretty tasty. He's in fantastic form. But then, game week 27, game week 28, he's got Brighton and Sheffield United, which I think are 2 also fantastic fixtures for Leicester, who are chasing top 4. So, Grealish to Barnes is just, I know it's standard, I know it's template, but sometimes you can either be too cute, you can either try and play it too smart and say, I've seen on Twitter lots of people going to Harvey Barnes, but there's a reason why people are going to Harvey Barnes. And it's because he scored double-digit hauls in the last 2 games, goal and assist. And like I've said, Arsenal and Burnley are a decent double game week, and then he's got Brighton and Sheffield United coming up after that. Granted, the defeat in the Europa League wasn't ideal, but hey, there's no future games now to distract him, so they can just sort of focus. I think it's still in the cup, but there you have it. They're my 2 transfers for this week. And like I said, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is my captain right now. Bruno is my vice. I'm hoping it is going to be a very split captaincy, but like I've said before, there's 8 million plus players. There are so many Liverpool fans. There are so many Manchester United fans that no matter what, because of dead teams and because of fan accounts, you're going to have Bruno Fernandes and you're going to have Mo Salah at high captaincy. You're just going to have it every single time. So again, I can see Bruno's injections in the chat about the no Bruno gang, because it just makes sense. If you're not going to captain him and his points working against you, might as well double down and take a punt. Especially if you're sort of 500k plus and you're just thinking, let's roll the dice, let's have a bash. So it was something I thought about, but Manchester United fixtures after game week 30 look too much for me to take out Bruno. And I've got like 0.6 invested in him, and I know it's not about money all the time, but I know I want him after game week 29, so it seems stupid to sell him, especially because with the plan that I have right now, it would have to be for a hit, and Salah's going to go after Sheffield, so all my plans are planned out, but there you go. But here's the argument. So I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the best captaincy option for this game week. I do believe he's top of a lot of like algorithms and all that. But here's the thing, guys. You know, at the start of this season, I tried to play the algorithm game. It meant I started the season without Mo Salah. It meant I started the season without Harry Kane, and it meant starting the season without Heung-min Son, and it meant that by game week 8 I was 4.5 million in the world, and I had Chris Wood as my striker because of algorithms. Stopped doing that, and now I've climbed my rank up to about 700k with some stats, but yes, Calvert-Lewin, top of the stats, most attempts and goals I think inside the 6-yard box as well, and then Bamford is just outside the 6-yard box, which is pretty nice to see. But Southampton, I called it, I mean, it wasn't like a explosion of genius, but after they got thumped at United, I said, here we go, this is the downward slide. I'm not, even though they've got double game weeks, I'm not touching Southampton with a barge pole. They're getting battered each way you want it. They've just been thumped again by Leeds. And then Calvert-Lewin's coming up just after they've beaten Liverpool at Anfield. And then they've got West Brom away. If you guys remember, I captained Bruno Fernandes in a single game week over Gundogan in a double game week because he had West Bromwich Albion. In my opinion, there's no argument. Everton have the best double game week fixtures. Home against the struggling Southampton side. They're probably going to lose both games 1-0 because that's something that Everton does, right? We know this. But I just think Calvert-Lewin's the best option. Harry Kane is a fantastic option. He would be my second choice. Heung-min Son would probably be my third choice. But I am thinking of a Luca Dean captaincy. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is 39.5% owned. I said, don't worry about effective ownership. Captain who you think is going to score the most points. Now, we're talking about Everton scoring goals, which everyone is fit now. You've got Richarlison, you've got James Rodriguez, and you've got Luca Dean and Sigurdsson in support, you know, creating goals, creating chances. Fantastic. Defensively is where it's interesting because it feels like, and I'm going to have to check it, it feels like every time there's a double game week, defenders come out on top, especially ones with good fixtures. It always feels like it's a defender that's the top choice. Now, if Luca Dean in the first game can get a clean sheet and Calvert-Lewin gets a goal, it's like the same. But Dean will get the bonus because of the clean sheet, and he'll probably do the most passes and crosses and tackles, etc. So you're already up on that one. And then West Brom away, the thing with captaining a defender is, and you guys know, I've said this week in, week out, I don't like captaining forwards. I don't like captaining strikers because they get fewer points for goals. They don't get any clean sheet points. Midfielders, they are the creme de la creme of what you want to captain, right? They get extra points for goals, they get clean sheet points as well, and they're good for bonus if they get a goal or assist. But the opportunity of Luca Dean here, if he can get 1 clean sheet and 1 assist in these 2 games, you'd be pretty happy with it. But relying on Calvert-Lewin to maybe get 1 or 2 goals, but probably no bonus, I can see Everton getting 2 clean sheets here. And if you just and then you're looking at bonus for Dean in that situation. So my heart is saying Dominic Calvert-Lewin because I want to watch the football. I want to watch Everton go and get it. And Calvert-Lewin grabs the goals and they're winning, and it's a 5-4 thriller against Southampton, and it's an absolute mess, and you love it. It's football, right? But my head's saying Captain Luca Dean because in double game week, defenders seem to be the one that are solid. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is just coming back from an injury. He came on as a sub against Liverpool. Albeit he came on, almost scored, won a penalty, fantastic. But is he quite fully fit enough to do 2 matches? That's been playing on my mind. But Luca Dean, fully fit. I think is he captain? Well, no, Seamus Coleman's the main captain, right? But he has wore the armband. He's on set pieces. He almost scored the other week, but it bounced back and hit the post, and I think it was Richarlison's thigh, and it went in. It looks like he was playing left winger at one point a game or 2 ago, similar to what Pereira's doing at Leicester, but probably a little bit further back. My head's just saying Luca Dean is probably the best captaincy choice. You get 1 assist and 2 clean sheets out of Luca Dean, and you're probably looking at maximum bonus in both games as well. And Calvert-Lewin's going to have to score like 3 goals to equal that. Now, do I think Calvert-Lewin can score 3 goals against these 2 teams? Yes, I do. But Everton aren't usually free scoring. Let's have a look at some of the results. 2 goals away at Liverpool, 1 against City, nothing in a 2-0 defeat at home to Fulham, 3-3 against United. Yeah, good comeback. So how many times did they score 3 goals in a game? Twice. 3 times. And at the start of the season, the 5-2 against West Brom, 4-2 here, and then all the way we go down to here. Yeah, I just don't have free scoring with them. And like I said, if we have a look at, he misses the Fulham game, he misses the City game, and he comes on for 28 minutes. Is he going to play both games? That's the thing that worries me just a little bit there. So I just don't want to watch a football game with a defender as my captain, because as soon as a goal goes in, yeah, Luca Dean can go and get an assist or a goal fine later on, but when it's your striker who's your captain and the team's just conceded, you feel more hopeful because you're like, oh, well, they have to score now, and hopefully my striker's the guy who's going to score the goal. But when your defender has conceded a goal and you're thinking, oh, I hope he scores somehow today, it's not the best. But I'm thinking of probably just bench boosting as well. Let's just catch up with El Chat. Thinking if Cresswell, Fernandes, Antonio out for Ricardo Pereira, Barnes and Kane -4. I quite like that, Matt. Best keeper recommendation for a double game week 26. I'm going to have to say Pickford or Hugo Lloris. There aren't any nail Fulham players at 4.4. Only one is Tete, who didn't play last week. I was going to say West Brom there, Harry, but that would be awful. I'll have to look at some cheap defenders because I'm not that low down. I mean, -4. If Mitchell plays once, then it's going to be worth it. But do you want to trust a Palace defender right now? Not really sure whether to use a triple captaincy. Chip Neal might even end up in game week 38 unless someone pops up. Well, could you not use it in... Oh, here's one then. Why don't you use it in game week 29 to cover the cost of you not having 11 players? Like a triple captaincy on, I don't know, Bamford against Fulham in game week 29. And then you only have 8 players, but one of them's a triple captain, which doubles it. So you've really got 9, or, could use it that way. Salah is one player you don't think you'll take out this season. He can just score a hat-trick out of nowhere. Completely agree. Maddison and Ings for Jorginho and Kane for -8. Madison and Ings out for Jorginho and Kane for a -8. I'm not a fan of that. You got ahead. All right, Sean, take it easy, buddy. Agree on Kufal out for Eric Dyer. Good. Got Barnes for Grealish. Shame as me. Jaden, who's the best goalkeeper for double? Already have. Who's the best goalkeeper for the double? Already have Target. Don't know if double Villa is smart. With Martinez in goal, everything is smart. To be honest, he's just a gift that keeps on giving. I'm gonna have to say Man City. Edison's the goalkeeper that I'm looking to have after game week 30, my wild card. Because when I was talking about earlier, Cancelo and Stones are not going to play the next 4 straight, right? Neither's Diaz, neither's Laporte, the defense. But Edison, 90%, 95% will. So best keeper to have, probably Edison. Or Mendy, but Mendy's got to have to face United, so it's not ideal. DCL is probably the best captain, but he doesn't have the pedigree of Kane. He's tempting though. Hey, Matthew. Hey. Let's have a look. Who are the top Premier League goal scorers right now? Who are the top? Non-pen. I think it's Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? I'll have to double check this, but isn't Calvert-Lewin the top goal scorer in non-penalties right now? Salah's got 17, Bruno's got 15, Calvert-Lewin's got 13, Harry Kane's got 13, and Harry Kane's taken penalties. So you watch that, Matthew. Me thinking Bruno out for Barnes again, but I've already said the fixtures are there, the double game week's there. All right, Chris, take it easy, buddy. Good luck, mate. Going to be a lot of big scores this week. I think so as well, John. I mean, not everyone, okay, but most people are going to have, say, what, 7 minimum double game week players? But I've already said, like, the worst part of my team is probably my 2 Manchester City players. Because when I look at this team, they're the 2 that I think are not going to play both. Like, I'm going to have Cancelo play 1 and Stones play 1. So I'm really not having 11 double game week players. Now thinking of Bruno to James Rodriguez. I've already said. And they've got another. But the thing is, as well, Everton have got a supposedly double game week in game week 27, right? So you like that shout on the triple captain that covers if you don't use it in 27 or 28. Yeah. And Neil, if you've got so many double game week players now, I know you want the points, right? That's the idea of the game, to get the points. But if you've got 11 players, anyone can get points at any given time. But if you're fielding only 9 players, you're going to need them to play extra well to get points to match up. But that triple captaincy chip might just be the thing that replaces 2 players if your captain has a good game week. What flag is that in the top right? It's Taiwan, mate. Okay, I can't scroll over for some reason. Here it is. Don't get me wrong, DCL is great, but as a striker, you don't think... I know, I'm only teasing. Yes, Kane is... He's got the pedigree, he's got the years, but you can't say Calvert-Lewin. Most goals inside the 6-yard box. I want him to goal hang the whole time. I'm just worried that he's not going to start both, but it looks like he's fit. He came on for the last 30. He looked good. He's probably shaken off some injuries. When am I wildcarding? It was going to be at the end of game week 29, but the team that I end game week 29 with have a fantastic game week 30. So it's probably going to be in 31. Some public stats for people to think about then. Last 4 games, best attacking team in the last 4 matches. Big chances. Who's it been? It's probably going to be Man City. Just let that load for a second. I don't want last match. I want more. Manchester United have created the most big chances in the last 4 13 big chances created. Expected goals, Manchester United are top again. Brighton in 4th. That's a little bit weird. And chances created, Manchester United top of the pops over the last 4. But interestingly, Brighton 2nd for chances created. Obviously, if you watch them against Crystal Palace, you can see nothing wrong with the chances they create. They just can't finish. Leeds, interestingly, 3rd there, guys. So another reason or point that if you want to have a bench boost of triple leads like I've got, they've created the 3rd most amount of chances in the last 3 game weeks. Looking at defense over the last 4, the worst team for conceding big chances in the last 4, guys. What team do you think it is? Who's that Diagne guy from West Brom? He's on loan, isn't he? I do recognise him from somewhere. Worst team for big chances conceded in the last 4 matches. Worst team. And by the way, they are 3 big chances ahead of everyone around them. Stats from Brighton Palace was mad as a Brighton fan. It's getting painful to watch them. Just need a finisher, don't they? But it's a bit like Villa, right? Grealish could have had about 5 more assists if Watkins would have finished it. There's a few situations like that. What about Alex Saint-Maximin? No, not for me. I'm avoiding Newcastle completely. Just to let you guys know, it's Liverpool who have conceded the most big chances over the last 4. 14 big chances conceded. Sheffield United is 2nd with 11, and then Crystal Palace with 11. So there you go. Goal attempts conceded. Crystal Palace are the worst, but then Aston Villa are the 2nd worst for goal attempts conceded. So we've seen that Leeds have created the 2nd most amount of chances, and we've seen Aston Villa have conceded the 2nd most amount of goal attempts. So another argument for bench boosting triple leads right now, which I know a lot of people, or at least double leads, because a lot of people will be in the same situation. Liverpool have also conceded the most amount of goals over the last 4 with 10. Most amount of chances, minutes per big chance conceded, Liverpool top again. Minutes per XG conceded, Liverpool top again, followed by Palace. Liverpool have the worst defense right now in terms of the last 4. It's absolutely nuts right now. Targeting Liverpool might be the way to go. We need a DCL. Oh, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I don't know why I thought it was Alex Saint-Maximin. I just usually see that ASM. No. Okay, I said I wasn't touching Newcastle. I'm definitely not touching West Brom. Not a chance. So we've seen stats where Leeds are creating chances. Villa are conceding chances, 2nd most created, 2nd most goal attempts conceded, and we've seen that Liverpool are by far and large the worst defence over the last 4 game weeks, and that includes watching all those chances against Crystal Palace and all those other results. It is nuts. Lookman could be okay this week. He is someone I was looking to bring in as well because he plays in Gameweek 29, but I went with Barnes instead because I'd rather take a -4, have Barnes for a few weeks, and then maybe bring in Lookman than have Lookman now, and then he sits on my bench for the next 3. Because here's the thing, Lookman's got City and Liverpool, I think, in the next 2, Matt. So yeah, okay, you bring Lookman in now, and then he's going to do sod all for your team for the next 4 games. XG goal involvement. Gundogan is the best one for that. Rafinha, the 3rd best player for expected goal involvement. Again, another point guy, another stat that's pointing towards me bench boosting this triple lead side. The stats are all pointing there. The eye test is pointing there. The love of Leeds is pointing there. It's absolutely nuts. Expected goals. Oh, that's the last match. I'm going to change that one. I've also been looking at weak spots of teams. So this is something I've mentioned before, that when I've brought in players, I'm not just looking at how good that player is, but I'm also matching up who that player is going to be playing against. So the likes of, let's say, some plays down the left, who's going to play the right back slot that they can take advantage of. So that's something that people can look at as well. And set set-piece attempts. I think earlier in the season, I called that how weak. I think it was when they play West Ham, and I said Leeds are really weak against set-pieces on one side, so I'm going to go for Souček, and then he ended up scoring. But expected goals over the last 4 game weeks, going to one at the top, and then Diagne there for West Brom. 1 goal, 8 shots inside the box, 2 inside the 6-yard box, 4 on target. Great XG stats, but if you've actually watched it, very, very wasteful. Salah, 3rd for expected goals. Joint 3rd, with Antonio. But no Leeds players there. Surprised. Bamford all the way down at 1.23 expected goals. Some pretty interesting stats, I would say. So it is a huge double game week. Games start tomorrow, I think it is. It's Man City West Ham, right? Yes, Man City West Ham, and then West Brom Brighton. It's loads of fixtures all throughout the week, which is wonderful. I think that's it, guys. It's pretty straightforward. We've been planning this. Sort of the lowest amount of stuff we've had to prepare for has been now, because we've been talking about this and we've been preparing for this for the last sort of 4 game weeks. Everything's set up. I've got 11 players with a double game week. I'm probably going to bench boost. I felt I was a coward last week because I didn't go for Rafinha as my captain. And I was a coward because I said I wanted to go for Areola. He was against Sheffield. He was better option than Leicester and Martinez. And I was a coward. And I'm looking at this team and I'm just thinking Luca Dean captain could be the key to like a 30-point captain double game week here. But then with all the attackers back for Everton, Richarlison feeding Calvert-Lewin, James feeding in Calvert-Lewin, Luca Dean feeding in Calvert-Lewin. Luca Dean is still only 8.7% owned, so if he does anything, that's a big, lovely green arrow. So I'm thinking I'm just going to stick with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But if we're here next week and I'm telling you that Luca Dean was where my head was and he walks out of there and he's looking at, clean sheet and assist against Southampton, clean sheet against West Brom, and if I'd captain him as like a 30-point plus captain, there you have it. And Calvert-Lewin starts on the bench against Southampton. I've only got myself to blame. So I'm probably very, very, very likely going to go bench boost. Unless, we get some news that Bamford and Dallas are injured or something like that. And then Son is going to be my vice captain. Calvert-Lewin is going to... Because I'm not going to do it on the same team, right? So I think my last decision, my last choice is Calvert-Lewin or Luca Dean. Because you guys know as well, Luca Dean is either going to get 15 points or he's going to get sent off and get a -1. And then he's going to get 20 points and then 2, 2, 2, 12, 2, 18, 5, 2, 8, 2, 22. That's what Luca Dean does, right? 7 points in the last game. No, I'm going to go with DCL. My love, my man, my hero. I had him in game week 1 all the way until whenever it was he got injured. I'm going to have faith with my boy yet again, I think. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Good luck for the double game week. Make those ballsy calls. Put a good captaincy option in there. And don't be afraid to take hits, especially if you're going to bench boost and it's going to give you an extra fixture, especially if it's going to do that. I would recommend that. All you've got to do is pop it on DCL, head and bang, the double whammy. Isn't that just great when you get one assisting another? That's the dream, guys. That is the dream. All right, so follow me on Twitter at RobWD90. That's where I'll post my final team, thoughts throughout the game week, anything about the live show. Hey, James, welcome back, buddy. Anything about, live stuff or changes to the team or just general football messages and stuff. So hopefully I'll see you over on Twitter. So have a good one, guys. Good luck. Let's get some green arrows. Have a good one.